fans, this is Kenneth, SBM Boxing. You visit the web at www.sbmboxing.com. Friend request, subscribe. 24/7 HBO. Timothy Bradley versus Manny Pacquiao 2. Episode 2. Matter of fact, episode 1. But it's game over for Timothy Bradley. It's game over. You know what? I like Timothy Bradley as a person. I like him as a fighter. He's getting better and better every single fight. But episode 1, episode 2, press conferences. He's, I see that. I respect the confidence. I definitely respect the confidence. But it's a little extreme. It's a little extreme. Coming in episode 2, yes, he tells his story. Episode 1, he tells his story as far as, the last Manny Pacquiao fight, he didn't get credibility from the fans. Matter of fact, it was the hardest victory in his whole entire career. He thought that he could go ahead and lavish and enjoy it because he just dethroned the pound-for-pound king, besides Mayweather. But you know what I mean. One or two, whatever you want to say. You can say Manny Pacquiao was pound-for-pound king. You can say at the time Mayweather was pound-for-pound king. Neither are wrong because both of them are badass fighters and both of them just don't want to fight each other. Say what you want, but I'm not gonna get into that. But he's explaining, he was getting a bunch of fan hate mail. A lot of people hating him. They felt like he got robbed. But in all reality, it's one of those things. If you go back to the tape, there's I would say a 10 percentile of people out there that thought Timothy Bradley won the fight. Some people say you got to put it on mute. Some people say if you don't listen to the commentators or anything like that and you see the fight, you can see that Timothy Bradley cleanly won that fight. I'm sorry, I put it on mute. I watched the fight over and over again. I felt like I wasted my time because sometimes I was just like, damn. Matter of fact, at the Boxing Genius house, that place was packed. And whoever subscribes to the SBM Boxing, you guys realize, let me take a step back. SBM Boxing, we cover live, post-fight, pre-fight predictions. And, it's a family-based environment. You got George the Boxing Genius, you got myself, you got Angel Chino Sanchez, you got Nelson Godfather, Waki Yonose. You got Johnny Debo, and you have, other friends and family members that just cover boxing and watch it. And that, the night we watched Timothy Bradley versus Manny Pacquiao, the whole entire house, it was about 30 people, and not one person thought Timothy Bradley won that fight. I seen it, 73 inches. I seen it, TV, clear as day. And it's just, I understand that since then, Timothy Bradley fought Provodnikov. He put on a great performance against Provodnikov. You watch my fighting predictions, he's getting better and better. And he felt like, he had a different approach, which I agree. He's out there to shock the world. Out there to make justice as far as his credibility and who he is as a fighter and why he's undefeated and he didn't get robbed. But, I give him respect. That was a good fight against Provodnikov. But I think he lost against Manny Pacquiao. He got completely dominated against Manny Pacquiao. The Provodnikov fight was good, but actually, who's Provodnikov? Provodnikov is a good fighter, but when Timothy Bradley fought Provodnikov, who was Provodnikov? Timothy Bradley wasn't ready for a war like that. He can say what he wants, but he wasn't ready for a war like that. He didn't expect it. So when Provodnikov brought it to him, and actually he had to take a knee, and he got dropped, and Bradley won up on the scorecards and whatnot. He won the fight on paper, but he didn't win the fans. A lot of people still booed him. A lot of people just felt like, if there was one more round left, Timothy Bradley would have been hurting. He had a concussion. You can tell, if you watch some of my videos back in that fight, and we covered it, you could see some footage of that actual fight. Timothy Bradley was on the ropes getting rocked. I haven't even seen someone like that in a while. I think the last one I seen it, Juan Lopez, when he was champ, he was getting rocked by that African guy. I forgot what his name was. But yeah, he was on the ropes. He was getting rocked. I think if it was one more fight, I think Provodnikov would have knocked his ass out. But that's here or there. That's if, maybe. And I don't like to speak about things like that. But the reason I'm saying that, and he beat cleanly, decisively, he beat Juan Marquez. Good fight. Really good fight. That last fight, he looked versatile. He looked like a complete fighter. He looked like he was ready to fight. But on the other end, I was shocked to see Juan Marquez the way he did and the way he performed in that fight. Maybe age got to him. Maybe the random blood and urine test just got to him. He was a different fighter coming into the Manny Pacquiao fight. and Manny Pacquiao fight, he just looked completely different. You know, even though Manny Pacquiao was completely dominating Juan Marquez in that fight, I had Manny Pacquiao winning, and Manny Pacquiao got knocked out. It's just that's the reason I'm going back and forth. It's just my main point. The reason, you know, long story short, is that Timothy Bradley's confidence, he's a little too overconfident, and it's good to be confident, but the statements that he's saying that Manny Pacquiao doesn't have it yet, he's getting in his head. Manny Pacquiao doesn't have it yet. Manny Pacquiao, he should just hang it up. He's not going to beat him, which is cool. You can say that comment that you're not going to beat me. I understand that. But when you start making, you know, when you start making insults, making it seem, and, you know, trying to explain yourself to the fans out there, explaining yourself to the cameras, you're just making it seem like you didn't win that fight. You're making it seem like you completely dominated Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao doesn't have anything left in the tank. That's just, and then your trainer, Joel Diaz, is saying the same thing and saying some ridiculous comments. That shit just right there, it's just, it's irking me. And it gets under my skin, which is good because it actually sells. But Timothy Bradley is a good fighter. He's a good fighter. He's definitely a good fighter. But he acts as if, he's acting as if he didn't lose that fight. He's acting as if like he completely dominated Provodnikov. The only credit that I give Timothy Bradley for is when he beat Juan Marquez. Juan Marquez. That was a good fight. That was a good upset. That was a good victory. Now you're fighting the real deal. You're fighting Manny Pacquiao. Say what you want. I know I'm going to get a lot of people commenting. I know a lot of people are just going to write me and say, you know, just say their comments. You know, Timothy Bradley, I'm a Timothy Bradley fan. I think it's going to be a good fight. As far as the 24/7 and the HBO 24/7, it just went back and forth and just told the story. As far as, you know, since the Manny Pacquiao fight, Manny Pacquiao losing, it shows the back end of Manny Pacquiao, what he went through as far as his fans and the robbery. You can see Bob Arum speaking about that. You can see the press conferences of that fight. You can see Timothy Bradley going to the hospital. You can see Timothy Bradley also in preparations coming into the Provodnikov fight. After the Provodnikov fight, Timothy Bradley said that, you know, he's never pissed blood or anything like that before, but he was actually pissing blood, and he put on a great performance then. You can also see when he fought Marquez, you know, and they show that, you know, his feelings, his thoughts and feelings when Manny Pacquiao got knocked out by Marquez. You see, Timothy Bradley was excited. He was excited by it, but at the end of the day, Pacquiao versus Marquez, them guys fought so many times. It was bound to happen. In that fight, I know Bradley was excited about it, but it's still Pacquiao losing that fight and getting knocked out by Marquez. That's Marquez, you know. Marquez's resume, his resume compared to Timothy Bradley is night and day. You know, so I have no idea why, you know. I understand that Bradley's a good fighter. He's been winning his last couple fights and he's undefeated. But I would give, of that undefeated record that he has, you know, he fought Marquez, legitimate. He fought Pacquiao, legitimate. Provodnikov, at the time, Provodnikov wasn't really, whatever. He fought Devon Alexander. Cool. Other than that, it's just, at the 147, I really don't see, you know, Provodnikov had to come up and weight. And that's the first time Provodnikov ever came up in weight. He didn't even weigh at 147. He came in weighing at 144. And he put on a great performance in his weight class. But, I don't know. What's my fight prediction on that fight? How do I see that going down? Joel Diaz said, you know, if Pacquiao thinks, then he's not a good fighter if he thinks. You know, as long as you get in his head and he's thinking he's not a good fighter, which I completely disagree. You know, he's making it seem like Pacquiao doesn't know how to box. You know, Pacquiao's a hell of a boxer. You know, he completely dominated Cotto. I understand that there was weight differences and stuff like that, but if you fight somebody in the caliber of Miguel Cotto, you got to be a good-ass boxer, because Miguel Cotto's a great boxer, and Miguel Cotto came into that fight boxing. Manny Pacquiao outboxed Miguel Cotto. Manny Pacquiao outboxed the bigger, larger opponents all the time. You know, he completely fucking dominated Ricky Hatton. He knocked Ricky Hatton's ass out. He fucked up the, you know, Sugar Shane Mosley. I understand that Sugar Shane Mosley was older. He was coming back-to-back losses, but he was outboxing Sugar Shane Mosley. He completely outboxed. I understand that De La Hoya was drained, but he completely outboxed De La Hoya. He completely dominated Margarito, and Margarito was the larger pressing opponent. And you know, you have to have great boxing ability if you have a wall coming at you the whole entire time. Now, Timothy Bradley, I'm sorry, Timothy Bradley, besides Marquez, has not fought anybody to that caliber. And Manny Pacquiao coming in the fight, being the smaller opponent, he's completely dominated. So the shit that Bradley says, I can see if your facts are correct, but the stuff that Bradley's saying and Joel Diaz saying that Manny Pacquiao doesn't know how to box, they say he's a great fighter and he has multiple championships in different weight divisions, but you know, they're just not giving him the credibility when it comes to boxing. But it's all good for promotions, good for publicity. It's good for, you know, the urge to rage and stuff like that, to get some of these people to sell and watch the fight. But this is going to be a good fight. This is going to be a hell of a fight. It's going to be at the Boxing Genius house. You guys need the friend request, subscribe. We're going to cover pre-fight, post-fight, and we're going to go live, round for round, every single fight. Make sure we get feedback from the friends and family and see what's going on. So if you guys want to know the updates, you guys can catch the pay-per-view. If you guys are working or whatever, just subscribe. Subscribe. Watch the videos. You know, every 3 rounds, every 4 rounds, we'll give you an update, let you know what exactly is going on in the fight. And, you know, you might get a little bit of sneak peek and footage and shit like that. But anyways, this is Kenneth SBM Boxing. My fight prediction is just, you know, Timothy Bradley's a good fighter. I hate to see Timothy Bradley lose, but I think Timothy Bradley's going to, you know, it's going to be like the same fight. Say what you want, you know, Timothy Bradley makes it seem like he has knockout power. He doesn't have knockout power. You can't compare his power compared to Marquez's power. So whatever Marquez did to Manny Pacquiao, I don't see Timothy Bradley doing that whatsoever. Timothy Bradley's more of a rugged, rough opponent. You know, his last fight, you know, he tried to be rough with Manny Pacquiao, but every time he got caught, he was just running, slipping, and getting away the whole entire fight. Anytime he exchanged with Manny Pacquiao, it was close distance, and he's just like real, you know, he throws his head in there, and he tries to street fight. And that's good, but it gets to a point where you're going to get overwhelmed and outspeed, outclassed with all the punch combinations that Manny Pacquiao is going to bring at you. And there's nothing that Timothy Bradley can do. And even after that fight, I wish they showed footage of that. Because I remember watching that first fight with Bradley versus Pacquiao, and Bob Arum came up to him right after the fight, and Timothy Bradley was just like, you know what, I tried my best, I just couldn't, you know, he was too fast for me. But the shit, they don't show that shit in 24/7, and people don't talk about that, because Timothy Bradley had that little discussion. If you watch the fight again, you can see Bob Arum walking up to him after the fight, and he was just like, man, you know, I couldn't do anything. You know, I couldn't do anything. So psychologically, he's saying that shit because he lost the fight. He lost the fight. Even Michael Buffer, which they showed on the 24/7, he looked at the scorecards like, oh shit, damn, there's going to be a robbery right here. But anyways, guys, this is Kenneth SBM Boxing. There's really not much to talk about besides to tell you guys to tune in. Have a good one, and take it easy.